Everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where every Friday I pick three streaming services and pick one previously released film off of each, and hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll have a few movies to go check out for your weekend. And we're still in that post Halloween feeling. We are going to have some spooky elements, but also some lighter ones here. We're going to be highlighting on Netflix, Disney Plus, and Mubi today. Starting with Netflix, we have 2004's Van Helsing. And this is definitely one of the least consistently traditionally good movies that I'm going to recommend on here. But at this point, I remember when this movie came out, I was so excited. This was one of my most anticipated movies. This is one of my favorite movies when this came out back when, I was 13 years old. And I rewatched this recently on 4K, and there's really impressive stuff still here. There's some special effects with the Frankenstein's monster and the werewolves that look better today than a lot of things. Yeah, there's some other characters that might not look as great, but this is such a fascinating amalgamation of these classic horror creatures. You have Count Dracula, you have werewolves, you have the Frankenstein's monster, you have the Brides of Frankenstein, you even have Robbie Coltrane playing Mr. Hyde. And this film is this action adventure twist with horror tinges and fantasy. The opening sequence in black and white that feels like an old Universal horror film is so cool. And is it a little overlong? Is it a little dumb, logic wise? Maybe. But Hugh Jackman is so charismatic as Van Helsing, just with his automatic crossbow, is just so cool. You have Kate Beckinsale looking absolutely amazing and dangerous. Richard Roxburgh playing Count Dracula and having so much fun doing it. Even David Wenham as Carl the monk. Who's a fun supporting character. You even have the Frankenstein's monster actually is a very interesting and layered character in this film. There's just really cool special effects and makeup and also a killer score. And this is such an interesting follow-up for Stephen Sommers, who did The Mummy from 1999. And his career might not have gone in the ways that he really wanted to after the success of the Mummy films. This one didn't make as much money, and he did that G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra movie. But this still is such a fun time. And even if it's over 2 hours long, it's a swashbuckling classic adventure kind of feel with horror tinges and fantasy, and it's a fun time. Speaking of fantasy, and specifically some magic, we're heading over to Disney Plus to look at one of the all-time great classic live action Disney films, and that is Mary Poppins. Um, and this film is from 1964. This is indeed an all-time classic. This is an iconic musical from Robert Stevenson and starring Julie Andrews as the titular Mary Poppins in an absolutely delightful and charming and performance that is nearly perfect in every way. And you have the likes of Dick Van Dyke, who his accent isn't the greatest, but he's a lot of fun. And the unsung hero of a lot of these older live action Disney films, David Tomlinson is Mr. Banks, who is such a delight. And this is such a wonderful cast of characters. It has amazing special effects in terms of some of the practical ones, trying to show this magic, them leaping into a sidewalk chalk art and living in this animated world. Dick Van Dyke dancing around a bunch of animated penguins, of course, but it's the music. This music is timeless. Spoonful of Sugar, Let's Go Fly a Kite, and just so many wonderful songs that will live on and bring you laughs and joy and put a smile on your face. It's just such a charming, magical, wonderful film that's about, it's about a man who's too busy with work and realizing that he really needs to become closer with his children. And you have some harming characters who help him realize that. And just Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews' performance is absolutely incredible and ridiculously charming. Insane charisma this wonderful performer has. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and she just brings so much charm and also a little bit of snark to the role too. And it's just from top to bottom, there's so many wonderful character actors from Jane Darwell and Ed Wynn, and just so many other wonderful performers who just bring this film to life. And you'll be tapping your shoe and just enjoying um this classic Disney musical that was from a bygone era at this point, and it's just so wonderful. And then last, we're heading over to Mubi, and we're getting really spooky here. And film that came out just 10 years ago, but has become one of the most beloved horror films in recent memory, and that is 2014's The Babadook. And this film is from writer director Jennifer Kent, who's done some amazing work afterwards with The Nightingale and one of the episodes of Guillermo del Toro's horror anthology over on Netflix. But here you have Essie Davis playing Amelia, a woman who lost her husband and is struggling with her rambunctious, misbehaving son. And she's dealing with grief and loss and depression and paranoia as things just keep mounting and mounting as she is haunted by this children's book titled Mr. Babadook and this haunting figure that comes into her life and takes her over and takes her to some dark places. Essie Davis's performance is immaculate. The layers, the tension, the emotion that she brings, the fear she sparks in you when things take a turn. You also have Noah Wiseman, who plays her son, who is one of those kids that you just really want to hate in a movie. But he does such a great job. There's one particular scene in a car where he sells fear like I've never seen a young actor do. And just the design of the Babadook, the design of this book, it is all creepy and unnerving, and it's heightening and just building and building and building. The themes are rich and layered for sure, and this film just delivers in such an impactful and meaningful way as it explores some really horrible things that humanity has to go through. And it's just such an impactful, scary, and moving film that just hits on so many layers. It's one of the best films dealing with loss and grief, and then all wrapped up into one of the best horror films of recent memory. I really hope Jennifer Kent continues to get opportunities to do work because just her films between this and The Nightingale are just so impressive. And The Babadook is an all-time horrifying film with an incredible mix of elements that just bring chills down your spine. But that is a wrap for another episode of the Streaming Wasteland. And just in recap, we have Netflix, we have 2004's Van Helsing, we have Disney Plus's 1964 Mary Poppins, and Mubi with the 2014 horror film The Babadook. And make sure to like, comment, and share. What do you like to? Are you the kind of person that still likes to watch some horror films in the weeks after Halloween? And what's your favorite like classic Disney film? Make sure to like and follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network just has so many great shows, whether it's about film or television or comics or physical media, sports. We have a little bit of everything. Go check it out. And if you like our logo, High Flyer Creative does some great work. And if you're interested in some digital marketing, give them uh, give them a contact. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.